Thank you, Tony. When Ndindi Nyoro was speaking in Parliament, the only time I saw him loud is when he was wrong. So most of the time, when you see your volume getting too high, there is a high likelihood that you're actually wrong. So that's what I would want us to begin from. Passion, the moment you're passionate and it accompanies with loudness, be very careful. There's a high chance. That's why my brother says, I said government reduced the price of unga. But those who are listening with me, to me objectively, no, I didn't say that. You see? So don't listen to respond. Sometimes just take your time, listen to understand. Because most of us who are here are all young people. If this country must make progress, then we must be honest with ourselves. Most often, the reason why our country has continued to be in a position where many of us complain is because we get angry before we reason. The moment we get angry, it becomes fodder for politicians. And that's why politicians will always push us towards anger. So that the moment you are angry enough, your decision benefits them, it does not benefit you. And that's why after every election, you again come and get angry again. And we are saying this time round, let us be modest, let us reason. So that when we make decisions, we are making decisions that are also benefiting us. Since politicians make decisions for them, we must also make decisions for ourselves. And most of the time I realize that new information to you can sound like a miracle. But it does not necessarily mean it's new to everybody. People like Kidi and myself have been in this space, championing these things. And at one point, by the way, we were just as loud. So it's a step in the right direction. I was listening to a gentleman called Eric Omondi recently on JKL. And he was very loud about Kenya, how one Kenyan is represented by 18 people. And when I was listening to his tone, he was sounding like this is a miracle information. Because the information is new to him, he thought it's new to the world. He was not even aware that there was a Punguza Mizigo initiative. Because at that time, he was doing comedy. So he thinks that the world has arrived now just because he has discovered that there's 18 people representing. Myself, Kidi, and others have fought that thing for the longest. Meaning it's something that has always been there. But again, because it's new information to you, you think it's the solution to the world. When you put together the salaries of all those people, they do not get to 1%.
Thank you.
They don't get to 1% of our GDP. But because it's new information to you, you are believing it's a miracle and the world should stop and listen. So we as the younger generation, for us to canvass a better country, we must start being more objective. And so far we are doing very well. And that's why today, even opposition leaders, when they come to speak, even those ones who don't support government are asking them, wait a minute, what do you have to do? What is it that you want to do for us? These questions were never there before. Before, people, you'd come together, then you amalgamate yourselves, an assembly of tribes, and then you win. Today, Kenyans are refusing. They're asking the questions you're asking. They're asking the questions my younger sister there is asking and saying, what will you do about the university funding model? And don't just tell us it's bad. Tell us how you will navigate it. And so we are heading, in my view, a step towards the right direction. So we want to urge us that let us do more of that. Do not be lied to become so passionate about the person you are supporting today, in whichever camp you are. Because trust me, your interests to them come third, not even second. Wow. So just because you are in an omnibus called Linda Mwananchi, so stop believing that solutions are existing because of that. Trust me, it's just another political unit like the rest. And all those leaders have been here. And many of them cannot account for much of what they did. But you know what they're counting on? Your anger. And there is always something to annoy you, by the way. There is always something. I told you in 2047, there will be an election in this country. And people who will be your age at that time will still be as mad as you are today. So that is just the reality. If I can comment about Odia's death, that someone had talked about. In my view, and I stand to be wrong, is odious debt is just another thing to whip emotions. Because one, our constitution does not recognize anything called odious debt. International law does not recognize odious debt. What it does is that when you have a debt, regardless of whatever the regime borrowed it, you must be able to pay. That is the ground reality. And only 2 countries in the world have been able to survive on odious. That's Cuba and I think Iraq, if I'm not wrong. And even then, when they did not pay their debt, it is not because they refused, it's because it was something that was agreed upon internationally. So when you see a leader spew to you a solution that looks so simple, always ask yourself, how come no one has done it? If really the solutions in this country are as simple as stopping to pay debt, anyone would have done it. And they become popular. All these African governments are struggling with debt. So I always argue that when the solution sounds so simple, please ask yourself, how come nobody has done it? And as I finish about the subject of affordable housing, and my sister talked about why should they pay 4,000 when they were paying 2,000? And that is quite a good argument. But my problem with affordable housing is that most of us who usually have opinions about it and how the slum people should be, most of us have never been to the slum. Most of us don't understand how people in the slum live. But when you get deep into the reality, you'll understand that they pay rent, okay, and pay for toilets as well, and pay for so many other things that you, in your house, they are already there. The moment you're in your house, you have water, you have all these things. But for these people, they pay rent, which might be 2,000 or 3,000, and then for every time their child goes to the loo, they have to again chuck 10 shillings, 5 shillings, and then they have to buy water again. And that's why most of us who are saying that the rent is not matching is everyone else of us who is not in the slum, not the ones in the slum. Have you seen them give that argument that we give? They don't, because they know that the solution that they are meeting is phenomenal.
The person who asked that question is listening.
Very, 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 very well. So that is usually the reality. So there is a gentleman I want to send you to on your way out of this place. I'm hoping he's there. There's a gentleman on this gate. I don't know whether you know him, Wesh. There is a gentleman who is a gateman on this gate of this building here. That gentleman is one of the beneficiaries of the affordable housing. He lives in Mukuru and is one of those beneficiaries. And one day I've always wished that we bring him here to give his story.
That would be nice.
Because he is here. Sometimes we do analysis and talk wishful thinking without listening to the stories of the real people who are actually affected. So the truth is that whereas we might have a textbook theory that looks very nice, the practicality on the ground is that those people, when you put them in a house that has water, and one of the things that touched me is during one of those interviews, when one of those people in the houses was being interviewed and they asked that person, it was a man, and he was asked, what is the best thing to you, according to you, about this house that you are in today? And he said the best thing about the house for him is a toilet.
Yeah.
So sometimes the things we take for granted, because sometimes we sit in places of privilege, are very different from the reality of the country. And as I finish, please, no one has asked anyone to congratulate government. No one completely. But when some want to congratulate it, also allow them. Because our problems are very diverse. When someone in Nyanza is very happy that they can see a road, there's another one in Central whose roads are so many that they even dry maize on the road. So when they see you happy about a road in Nyanza, they get shocked. So our realities are not the same. So allow those ones who are happy be happy. And allow yourself who is sad to also be sad, because that is the reality of our democracy. Thank you very much.